Howdy, yo. How's it going? Good to see everybody in here. Fox is in the house. Harvey, good to see you. And we have a good night planned tonight. We are going to be talking first off, as I hear there's some missiles flying over in Israel. We're going to go listen to that. Redbirds, how's it going? Great to see you. And we're also going to be talking about the pipeline, and then we're going to get into some of the things that I found out about wonderful laundry detergent. Is it good for us or is it bad for us? And then we're going to talk about a makeshift cooking service that I'm going to make out of cinder blocks. So guys, if you can, hit the thumbs up. Gray will be in here shortly. I talked to him just a little bit ago. And then we're going to start this thing off. It is great to see everyone. Jess, how are you doing tonight with a big smile on your face?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Mitz, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. So first, Stars Prepper, hey, hello, how's it going? Jeep Girl, good to see you.
Hey, Stars Prepper.
Guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It helps with what we're doing. Guys, also don't forget you saw the intro for our tomorrow morning. So me and Gray will be on tomorrow morning at my channel at 10 a.m. sharp. So you saw a little peek intro to that. That is coming. All right, Mitz, good to hear it. I know right off the bat is I just got a thing on my news feed. Israel is getting bombarded with missiles right now. So if that's in the news, I was asking at that time who's doing the firing. Harvey, you know who's firing at Israel right now? Stars Prepper, good to see you. Hello. Outsider. Good to see you, Outsider. Glad you came in here.
I'm sharing you out on my community tab.
Good
That's
deal.
why I'm quiet.
Everybody, please share us out. Yeah, I said that to Gray. All right, so first and foremost, let's get into one of the big things Harvey started talking about this a little bit before, and we all heard about the hack job on the pipeline. And I listened today from a big news station, starts with an F, and they said that retaliation strikes. Okay, Harvey, thanks. They said on a pipeline that they're trying to have everything that will be up and running within a week. And now what I want you guys to pay attention to on this is a trickle-down effect. Okay, first we had a ship that got stuck in a port. That was a week. Now we got a pipeline that got hacked into. And I don't know the whole story yet about the whole guy with the military guy that could have turned it on and he didn't. There's hee-hawing around about that. But we have this going on. And the military strikes. And I do have some other research that I will be bringing up shortly and how this combines in with end time scenarios, what it says in the Bible. But if you keep just keep in the back of your mind with the port and now this, why are they deterring us? What is going on that they don't want us to know about is the question. And that's what we want to jump into. I'm waiting. Gray should be in here. Israel strikes Hamas targets after rockets fired at Jerusalem. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on, guys. And why is it going on? And what are they not telling us? Is the question.
That's what scares me is you always know something bigger is going on behind the scenes.
Exactly. You know, we don't hear squat anymore about the Russia and China and all that stuff going on in the seas over there.
Mm-hmm.
Gray knows in a little bit more detail. I had to go to work when this all took place, so he's got the inside scoop. So CB, hey Roland, how's it going? Good. Hi Jess. It makes you wonder why they want to keep our minds occupied. And the other thing I heard is now the third strain is out and about. So there's another thing. Poor boys in Canada have been locked up for a while. That's another question. That was my first thought. Is that trickle going to happen over here?
Yeah.
Are they going to try to pull that here? You know what is actually going on? Bushcraft family, it is great to see you.
Hey, Bushcraft. You know, you saying that, what makes me think too is like with everything going on with the economy and everything with the pipeline, all that, like how are they're talking about coming out with another stimulus check as well? I want to know where they're getting that money from to provide the people with stimulus checks when we have all kinds of other things going on behind the scenes as well.
Right. Exactly. Where's this coming? There he is. Ladies and gents, it's Mr. Gray Man.
Hey, Freaky Geek.
What's up? Evening.
Hey, Gray Man.
Freaky Canada has been locked up because of the whole third strain. So they are in lockdown there in certain areas. And I heard that from Mal told me that, and so did North Shore. So, Gray, we started kicking it off for you, got everybody warmed up. The pipeline. Now, this gentleman that could have turned it on, is he just a pansy or a Ponzi, or not a pansy, a Ponzi, or is or is this something that's legitimate? Have you heard anything about other than that he just didn't want to turn it on, or what was it? Did you get a scoop on that?
From my understanding, the reason they don't want to turn it on is because I think they don't have the ability to, because as soon as they turn it on, the hackers themselves have access to it.
Ah, okay.
So because it's now, I don't want to send anybody down a rabbit hole, but I was listening to Patriot Radio today, and Mark Levin was going extremely off the rails.
Imagine that.
And he had mentioned something about the Russians. And I'm not sure if they're directly involved in that or not, but he had said that there was something going on with that, and the U.S. going soft and a bunch of other stuff like that. So I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to dig more into it, and I don't want to freak anybody out. But so I'm researching and listening to other options to see what the heck is going on. And Harvey, I did verify that story about that lady in Florida who did have the issue trying to find gas, and there was lines at gas stations, and it took her about 4 or 5 tries to get gas. So it's beginning. It's definitely beginning. I'm not sure. They have it classified as 4 days off currently. They have pushed vehicles from the West Coast and redirected them to this side of things. But like I told folks in the video I did earlier, that's going to spread those folks thin. So it will be a trickle effect onto the West Coast, because if they're using the fuel from that side of the country and to this side of the country, they're going to take some of that and bring it over here. It's still going to spread things thin.
So we have a couple new people in. I want to say hi to Nature's Bounty Homestead. Thank you so much for coming over here. Carla, it is great to see you. Yeah, I really didn't get the whole, because I was on my way to work when we and you talked, so I didn't get the whole gist of it, but I did talk to the gas station around us, and they said, oh, there's nothing. Hey, B-Lady, good to see you. You're not late. We just started. They said it shouldn't hit us because the pipelines are all down south. So there's the BS. That's the first BS line I heard today, because so what do they stop? They stop diesel. They stop jet fuel. They stop to the military surplus. Okay, them are the 3 lines they stop. So what is actually going on here? Because that's transportation. So that's goods and trucks. That's airplanes. That's the mail. There's so many things that are going on with that. And if you guys look at where the bus are now, I don't know the technical term to a grade, but the ports for all like your UPS mail, your food, that's all down south.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Port of Miami is huge. The New York ports are huge. All along the East Coast, there's a lot of major ports. Also, to add to your list, they also are that's also affecting petroleum-based products as well.
We don't want them anyway, so.
Well, I mean, it goes like, let's say tires, things like that.
Deanna, good to see you. So, guys, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the pipeline. We were going to talk about, Israel is bombarding. They're playing missile battleship back and forth right now. And then we're going to get into something with the research I just finished up here with laundry detergent. I was kind of shocked. Gray got the email, and so did Jess with this on there. So we got a good understanding of what is going on with that. Kind of blew my mind. And then also, guys, we have our Tuesday morning is going live for the first time tomorrow at 10 a.m. on my channel. And we're just going to bring a smile on Gray's face because here's that intro if you haven't watched the video. And we're back. So, guys, we're going to be cranking it up a lot. We're trying to get this information out to you from the homesteading side, from the prepping side of things to try to get you better prepared for what's on its way. So I hope that you guys can join us at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Now, that's 10 a.m. Mark's time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Zany's in here. Natural Brown, awesome. Love it. Yeah, Freaky, I drove that chopper pretty quick, didn't I? There's a lot of things, guys, that are going on behind the scenes. And like I said before, what are they hiding? You know, why are they making this stuff? If you remember, like I said before, remember what happened in the port? That was a big thing going on. Now this oil line, is there something bigger? That's the question that I'm trying to dig up and find out.
Yeah, if you see what Harvey wrote there, that's the connection with the whole Russia thing. He actually has more information on that.
Yeah, FIL2, Dark Side. I know Dark Side. I agree.
Hey, Josh, how you doing tonight?
Gardner Josh, thank you for inviting other people into our live stream tonight. Good to see you. So that was that. So let's get into, Gray, you got anything you want to talk about?
Not right offhand.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to think of, like I said, I know the whole pipeline thing that we've been discussing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of folks are discussing it, you know, across the airways. Now, unfortunately, there's some folks out there, I'm not going to name names because I'm not that guy, that are saying that we as preppers are scaring people to go buy gas.
Don't hit the right buttons, Mark.
I was going to say, okay, I just got censored. But what was I going to say is that I tried to explain to this homesteader that it's not fear mongering. It's not, you know, talking about something that's breaking in the news is to inform other folks who do not pay attention to mainstream media because they do not trust the mainstream media. Now, most preppers, most people who are prepared in general, be it a homesteader or prepsteader or whatever you want to like to, you know, call folks, have gasoline. There's no need for us to rush out and get gasoline, but we're just trying to, you know, let people know that there's a problem arising, and if they don't have it, to get some.
So the Ugly Prepper, good to see you. Harvey, just put up the link for Gardner. Isn't tomorrow, or when is your live with Gardner Josh? Is that tomorrow night?
9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Me and Josh will be going live.
There's a question in the chat, guys. Is there really a cyber attack on the pipeline, or are they just trying to raise prices because no one drove last year due to the lockout?
See, that's the thing is if you got to usually by economic laws, when you have a surplus, the prices go down. So last year you saw that we had a surplus, so they started shutting things down because they were overproducing what we were able to hold up, and we were stocked up. One of the things that we stopped doing is we stopped getting a lot of our fuels from overseas and getting more of our stuff from in here. This here now is Gray's going to be Gray's Pertay because he's been doing the research on this today. I just think, I don't know, but I'm not seeing the gas prices go up here, but I read on the news article, which I'm going to your famous starts with an F station.
Hmm.
They did have an article on it, and the top price right now was $3 a gallon, and that was to the south.
Agreed, Zane. And also there's more to it. There's more to it to the gas prices. I discussed this the other day. There's also issues with people. There's not enough employees to drive the trucks. They're down by 80%. So they don't have enough folks. There is a stockpile of gasoline and oil products in the U.S., but they don't have enough drivers to drive and disperse the fuel.
Why is that?
Supposedly it's the highest it's been because of last year's health crisis. A lot of folks, there was no work. They had to do other things. Let's say drive trucks for food, toilet paper, all kinds of other stuff. Plus, all of them went to other different types of industry, like construction and stuff like that. So they're trying to bring folks in, and they're trying to use incentives for these truck drivers, but you have to have specific licensing and whatnot to drive these trucks. So that being said, that's why oil price, or I think it's oilprice.com. And also you guys can check out Gas Buddy too. A lot of folks are familiar with Gas Buddy. Gas Buddy's on the cusp of telling you things. You can check gas prices from around the nation on there, and gas is jumping. I guarantee you, I don't want to say guarantee you, but I'm almost sure that, and in some spots it already is, but I'm assuming by summertime, gas will probably be anywhere from $4 to $5 a gallon.
The thing that I got here right now on my news feed here is FDA authorizes Pfizer for the thing for 12 to 15-year-olds. So that's going to be interesting. The other thing I got on here is U.S. Treasury officer states $350 billion for sea aid. There's another one. So some of the stuff that I'm getting on here doesn't add up. Okay, the pipeline plans to be substantially back online by the end of the week after the ransomware. So you can read more of this. Let me see. The FBI confirmed in a statement on Monday that the cyber criminal group called DarkSide, so thank you, Harvey, you're right on the money, was responsible for ransomware attacks to Colonial Pipeline Network last week, according. The pipeline network will provide an estimated 45% of fuel on the East Coast side. In a statement on Monday, the segments will be brought back online in a stepwise fashion with the goal of sustainably restoring operation service by the end of the week. This pipeline transfers over 1 million gallons of oil per day. Pretty interesting.
As of 3 hours ago, which make it headlines, is U.S. military ship fires 30 warning shots after encounter with Iranian vessels. 13 vessels from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard came close to American Navy vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, in the Pentagon stated today.
Hi, Joy Bless Life. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Joy Bless Life. Good to see you. It's almost midnight. I'm tired. Yeah, guys, so really think about that. There's other things behind the scenes. I want you guys to don't have your blinders on this, and that's what's been happening a lot throughout this last year. Homesteaders, preppers, they're well aware of the different things that are going on, but you have people out inside society that will put the taboo on preppers and stuff like that. So just be aware of your surroundings on this. Let me see here. So the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight was the 13 dangerous chemicals that are found in laundry detergent. We were going to be making a video coming up here shortly. It's in the works for our homemade laundry detergent that we use. And when I did that, I looked at the side of a bottle to see what the ingredients were, and there was nothing there. And it said, call or go online for this information. And when we went online, it said the website was down. So I went into other research and I found some things that sodium lauryl sulfate is also known as SLS or SLES. A main ingredient in which the most common chemicals in laundry detergent, as well as dish soap, hand wash, and shampoo, the SLSs and SLESs are surfactants intended to remove soil and are foaming agents that were originally developed for garage floor cleaners. Unfortunately, they also inflame skin, eyes, and lungs and damage internal organs and toxic to the environment as well. But what really got me concerned on this, guys, was number 3, formaldehyde. Why would we be using formaldehyde in our laundry detergent?
To preserve it.
But okay, guys, think about this. What is our biggest organ? It's our skin.
Mm-hmm.
When we use that, our body, especially when you perspirate in your sweat, your body is pushing the fluids. We soak it up through our skin. So it's like, why are these guys doing this? So this goes back into that whole foxhole that we went through with the whole BPS and BPA.
Hey, Ghost.
Hey, Ghost Prepper, good to see you. So, guys, Harvey, if you want to do some more research, check in on laundry detergent. So the moral of the story is, guys, is that if we can make our own, and I will be putting out that video shortly on how you can make your own laundry detergent for pennies on a dollar. It's very cheap. It's really easy to use, and it is safe in all directions.
Hello, the best life.
Deanna Walters. So the other thing that was really strange with this whole article is that where do I have it here? Oh, so they gave a rating. So they do ratings for laundry detergent. You get an A or an F, depending on health concerns, right? So the laundry detergent that I was checking on was the stuff that we used to use, and believe it or not, it got a D. So the environmental work group rates products based on an ingredients on a scale from A to F, and A being products with the lowest concern, F being products with the highest concern. In terms of health and environmental hazard, said laundry detergent is rated a D by the environmental work group, meaning that it has likely hazards to health on the environment, and most prominent reasons for the score include a poor disclosure from the manufacturer about its ingredients. I found that out. The possibility to concerns ingredients that have potential for cancer, providing respiratory effects, and problems with biodegrading. So here comes that cancer stuff again, guys.
When you have a moment, Mark, Harvey made a comment.
Go ahead.
He stated that, he said, here's a funny one, Mark Gray and Jess. Since wood prices have gone up 400%, websites are saying that toilet paper prices will go up in price fourfold as well.
Imagine that. And we're one of the biggest producers of toilet paper.
Better start stocking up on washcloths.
Hey guys, I'll tell you another trick is that you can go down and get yourself some baby wipes for next to nothing.
I have a case of the they're in the storage room. They're the little tablets, and you add just a drop of water to them, and they turn into. So I probably have like 10,000 of those things.
Where do you find those at? Did you order those online?
Unfortunately, the Amazon giant.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, Clever Craft.
Chris,
Sorry.
good to see you.
It's the reason I use them, and a lot of people say you need to boycott them. Here's the problem with that: you can't just go to a lot of local stores and find the stuff that we need as preppers, because they're more of a specialty item. I've looked for stuff in all the stores, the big box stores, and I can never find this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing too is that
what's up, Chris?
We can make that regularly or pretty cheap, actually. So if you think about it, back in the old days, they would use a shirt, whatever. I mean, it does sound pretty nasty. And they'd wash it off. Back when I was a baby, they didn't have diapers that you could throw away. So I can imagine there's ways around it. We just got to get the problem that we're having is we're so used to convenience. We got to get back to the basics, and we got to understand the concept behind that. And that's what's going to keep us from getting stuck into these situations that we have.
I was going to see, can Jess go and play us a tune on the piano?
I could play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
That's cool.
I actually could. I bet you I could play it from over here. Just go find me some Beethoven and we're all set to go.
Well, I'm not that advanced.
I hear you, the ugly prepper. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to while it's there, you might as well use the system as best as you can and get the things that you need. So when the system is not there, that's what I always say.
Hey, Newman Outdoors, welcome.
Yeah, I mean, our system has been broke for a while, and people, they've been doing this for a long, long time, and they're getting to that point. You know, they're really looking and pushing things fast around. And just remember, you know, there's always a reason for something. I learned that last year. What's the big thing coming up next? And that's the question I ask myself on a daily basis. Well, what are they really trying to tell us, or what are they really trying to do here? So, CB, good to see you.
CB's been here. They're taking off. They're gonna go to bed.
Okay, good. Thanks for coming in here. Yeah, best life. I remember my mom washing clothes, diapers, and having them. I remember that too. So
We went grocery shopping today, and everything that I shop for in the grocery store, I am really a consistent shopper. So I basically get the same things over and over every single month because my pantry is pretty well stocked up. So when we went to the grocery store today, everything that I normally buy is up at least 80 cents to $1.
the other thing that I just found out too, Gray, we were told yesterday from work, steel prices triple.
I had a feeling that was coming.
So what does that do for us, you know, like right now? Because if you're under the whole lean management kind of thing, you don't keep a lot of that stuff on stock.
Right.
So I'm really concerned as far as, you know, if we can't get our steel, we're not making stuff.
Well, that's another thing. We went in town today and turned in cans. Cans are up 30%, all aluminum. Also, metals, everything is up. Copper's up. Barrett was talking to one of the workers in there about the old wiring in his mom's house. And I can't remember. It was an insane amount. It was like $1.30. It was up. So that makes me curious too. Why is all the metals and everything going up all of a sudden?
Because a lot of the places, like for us, we're no longer able to buy. They want steel made in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to made everything else.
Just to note that Bushcraft said, if you look in chat, Bushcraft said, where was it at? He got where did it go? Bushcraft.
Just got a message from New York. My mom went to the gas station and they had a $10 limit at some gas stations. Is that the one you're looking for?
North Carolina.
Or North Carolina, yeah.
And to back up that, I have an article that says gas shortage. Governor Cooper declares state of emergency for North Carolina, halts vehicle regulations. And they Caitlin Penter on Twitter said the gas station in Robbinsville is all out of gas. Clerk said manager told her it could be up to 5 days before they have gas again.
And so guys understand something. So if they can't get it down south, it can't get down there, they're going to take the reserves from the north to bring it down to the south. So what happened here this spring is gas prices for natural gas, because of what was going on down in Texas, they took ours, charged us 3 times the amount, and sent our gas down there. So everybody is going to be affected by this in some way, somehow. And there was another comment in here for Gray. It's kind of a funny one. Where is it? Somewhere where you're looking through somebody.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I was researching the North Carolina situation.
Oh, where is that? It was funny. Looks like Gray's looking through you. He does that.
Because as I see things in chat, before I mention some of the things, I'll just pull up some things, type in some things just to verify some stuff. Not to say anybody's saying anything. I just want to, give them credit to what they're saying.
Fox. Hey, there's another one because Fox is in New Mexico. Fox, can you look up your prices in your area right now? Creative, good to see you, buddy. Glad you could come in here.
But so
Okay, creative.
Beyond the U.S. Regional state of emergency, now, like I said, North Carolina has declared their own state of emergency.
And the funny thing is it's not us homesteaders or preppers that are hoarding this stuff at all because we already have it. So how can we be hoarding it? Or I shouldn't say hoarding it, go down and buying it all up.
Yeah.
Copper Kettle Farms. Hello.
Hey, Copper Kettle, good to see you. I didn't even see you guys pop in here. There she is.
Yep.
Yeah, Fox, if you can tell me what your gas prices are down, because I know you're down in New Mexico area down there. So nature's saying that they're not going to raise prices by here until the end of the week. Guys, another thing too is that I've been in around our gas stations in these small towns. You get to know the owners of the gas stations, and they usually let you know when gas prices are going up. Everybody's being a little bit hush-hush on this deal too, because I couldn't get any info out today.
Hey, Texas Jungle and Izzy P.
Well, look at there. Texas, what's going on, buddy? Long time no see. Good to see you.
The bee lady, it's because of the gas shortage. That's what in North Carolina was going on in North Carolina. If you want, I could pull that back up, and if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, let me see if I can pull it back up here.
Yeah, sure.
Let me go back to that, my history.
Yeah, Deanna, they're going to start to limit our supply. So,
all right. Here.
What's funny about this is isn't diesel a byproduct of gasoline? I know it's cheapest to make. It's the cheapest fuel of all. Is that a byproduct of fuel, or is that just
right here? You see that? Like I said, that's that. And then I was reading right here. And that's a news channel, WLOS 13.
So Fox is saying that he's down there in New Mexico. He's $2.99 to $3.50 a gallon right now.
Wow, it's
Newman Outdoors is saying $2.89 in Idaho, as well as $2.59 on Sunday. So it depends.
We were $2.69. We're up to $2.89 now in the last 7 days, and it jumped up 6 cents since last night.
And Joel's saying $2.39. Now, as we were at $2.89 here last week already. So
Ghost is saying it jumped there 25 cents a gallon.
That's crazy. And Harvey says they're out of gas.
Mm.
Wow. See, it's stacking up. So I had a few of my gas cans that were empty. So I went and topped off everything. And while I was doing that, I was checking things out. And most of the people have no clue what's going on. They're just meandering around here currently. But I guarantee you here the next day or so, they'll see.
Hey, Metal Music, good to see you. He's saying engine close to $4 a gallon in Illinois.
Wow. Agreed, Izzy. We were under number 45. Gas prices were phenomenal.
Beat lady, so this is supposed to be over by the end of the week. What's going to happen is there's a trickle down effect that is going to happen from this. And yes, the pipeline is supposed to be up and running by the end of the week. But you guys also, what holiday is coming up? So if you guys notice in the falls and the winter times, gas prices, as far as fuel for transportation, they will vary, but they're kind of on a lower end. When you come into a holiday, you're going to see your gas prices raise up. And then they're going to start to trickle down. That's theoretically how it's been going for years. Now,
Deanna Walter says West Virginia is also getting low.
What's going to happen with this is, yes, they might have this thing fired up by the end of the week, but does that mean that gas prices are going to go back down? So you think about that when Big Brother gets his hand in the pocket, he's making $4 a gallon. Does he want to stop and go back down to the $2.50, $2.89? It's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, gas prices always skyrocket. They'll jump 25, 30, 40 cents, and they'll trickle down by a penny each week or 2 cents. It's a slow back down. But think about this. So the pipeline goes back up next week, right? There's still going to be a delay in the gas. because once they get up and running, then they have to put it in tankers and get it shipped and everything moving forward again. So you're looking probably about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And in that time,
It's funny. Who was it? The Best Life said that my daughter is right. I should probably buy a horse. And my husband was in town telling people today that they better start buying horse and buggies again. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Hey guys, the other best thing to it too is a pedal bike. One of the biggest for prepping, one of the best things to have is a pedal bike, because you can always use your own energy, and it's a good way to get around, especially at these prices.
Two things. Where was it? I saw someone else said Georgia is slow, and Bushcraft is right. Higher gas prices means all prices go up. But Ghost Prepper says this: what if this is a test drive, and if it happens again in November, December, and the heating fuel is stopped, what way to decimate the population?
There it is. That's what I said before in the beginning. What is their alternative to this going on? Is this another test drive on something? And Moon was asking me that exact question today. And thanks for that comment, Ghost. You're absolutely correct. What are they trying to do behind the scenes? Exactly. Very interesting. That's why we're going to talk about a little bit is do you guys have an alternative cooking source? Do you have an alternative heat source? Don't just think about what you have right now, what down the line when other things fail, because obviously if you have natural gas like we do, my backup to my system is propane. It's still a gas. My backup system to that would be wood. Now, if I can't get a log truck in here to bring my wood in, and if I wouldn't have my, what do I, you guys got to look at this. Is there's your primary, your secondary, your tertiary, and now you might even need another. $30 miles on a bike ride to town would suck. Best life, yes, that would probably suck, but it beats walking.
Yeah.
Nature's Bounty is making a good point. Nature's Bounty says, and they want to make wood stoves illegal. And to back that comment up, it says the EPA has recently banned the production and sale of 80% of America's current wood-burning stoves, the oldest heating method known to mankind and a mainstay of rural homes and many of our nation's poorest residents. That was back in 2014. That being said, this is something that's been going on for quite some time.
Hey, Blake Hurst, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Blake, good to see you, buddy. Why do you think they want to shut down your heat source?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say why. I know why.
Yeah, and if anybody's worried about that, you should look into the barrel stove. If you can't afford a wood burning stove, there are a lot of barrel stoves out there that you can make yourself for really affordable prices.
Absolutely, Ghost. It's just a piece of the puzzle.
If someone said they'd never heard that before, let me get past his advertisement, because I hate advertisements on this stuff. But I will share the screen again so you guys can see what I'm reading, just so you know that we're just not crazy, folks.
Ghost, I think if something goes down, that is the last place I'll be heading.
This was dated January 29th, 2014. I don't know where they're at with it now. I'd have to do some more more research, but this is the first thing that popped up. And if you see right there, it says 80%. 80%.
That is crazy. You know why they do that is because they got the catalytic converter, and they got some of them now have gasifiers on the back of them that are supposed to be cleaning and burning cleaner. But what happens is your gasifier in the back will plug up. You got to take it all apart, clean it out. And if you're an older person, you have to have somebody come in and do that for you, and they could become a big pain in the butt. I know I was looking before we put our wood stove in the house here, we were looking at different styles, and the amount of space that we have to keep warm, the fireplace would have to be humongous, and until you get in some of them older ones, like we got a Vermont casting, an old one of the 1980 era, and that thing has no problem heating this house. And cool thing is it's got a cooktop on the top of it.
Hello, Going Green Mom. She says around here people are restricted in time frames for burning wood. I think it is October 15th to April 15th.
Hmm.
You know what? I think it's looking better and better staying in Wisconsin.
I hear that's why I like Florida. Matter of fact, my governor just passed a new law that says any local governments that pass any gun legislation will be fined. It's illegal now for these local places. It's going to the Supreme Court, but our governor is passing that legislation that these local municipalities cannot pass gun legislation. It has to be done through the government of the state of Florida. So yeah, there's certain states that are better to live in than others, guaranteed.
Well, I'm not, our governor is far from anything good at all. The two of them can't make a decision to save their rear end.
Hello, Northwoods Peachtree.
He's back. He went to go get some fuel.
Hello, TH2.
But I'm glad you guys are you're obviously you're kicking her in the chat. You're talking about this, so you guys are aware of what's going on. That's a good thing because there, like Grace said, there's a lot of people that are out there that have no clue. They're living their life day by day with the blinders on. So, we need to really kick that up, and we need to stop that and get going and get our stuff ready because, like Go said in the chat, and like we've been telling you, what's going to happen this fall. And it's not a fear mongering thing or fear tactic or anything like that. Bless you.
Thank you.
It's the truth. It's what's coming up for the future here, and we need to really think about that.
And Ghost, you're right, man. It does have to do with the county sheriffs, and thank the Lord. My sheriff here says if anything happens with the federal government, he will deputize all law-abiding citizens.
Wow.
In the county, which is about 800,000 folks.
Wow. Hello, Northern Girl Hobbies.
That's absolutely true, Fox. You know what? Honestly, he says, honestly, I don't waste my time listening to the mainstream media. Where do you get your accurate news? Is from channels that are out there, the prepping community, the homesteading community. You get a lot of these guys are doing long-term research. I know Ghost does a lot of research. I do a lot of stuff when it comes to the homesteading side of things and finding out about what they're trying to put in our stuff to kill us.
The best life, you're correct. And I understand people are burning themselves down with the wood burning stoves. I think Mark touched on that. And the thing is that when it comes to anything, when it comes to using gasoline, a generator or whatever it may be, you have to know how to use it properly because everything or anything could cause a fire, could kill you, and so on and so forth.
Not only that, is like the system we put in this house. It's a 15-inch. It was made by some kind of extra tech or something like that. It's a 15-inch in diameter. It's a double sleeve, double insulated with an 8-inch core pipe going through the inside. When my insurance company came and looked at that pipe, they said you went way overboard. Then on top of that, when I built the hearth, I put heat-resistant wall on it, heat-resistant brick. The floor portion is all heat-resistant. So if you do it wisely, keep your stuff clean and up to date, you shouldn't have any issues burning wood. All quiet now.
I just seen somebody pop in I've never seen before. I wanted to welcome them, but now the chat jumped.
Well, that's good. I'm glad the chat is jumping. Smarter than the toys you play with. Yeah, Joe, absolutely.
Bingo. Nature's Bounty Homestead asked Jess what state she's in.
I'm in Ohio.
It's round on the ends and high in the middle.
It's all right, goes, buddy. Guys, I want to give out real quick here. We're going to show the schedule for me because there's a lot of people in here now. This will be me and Gray's schedule for a sec here. We're going to pop this up. Made it back just in time.
Yeah, Harvey. Number 46 has no clue if he's coming or going. So I can understand him making that statement.
It is crazy what's going on and why, the more that we see this stuff happening and the more that we talk about it, the more that they're pushing us back. And it's going to get to the point where it's going to be a fight just to get this information to you guys.
I'm not familiar with this. Lorief Larson says, then how do you use a burning barrel in the house safely? I don't think you would put a burning barrel in a house.
Burning barrels have a kit that you can buy to transform a 55-gallon drum into a wood stove.
Oh, okay.
They're not the most efficient because most of your wood stoves are going to be thick, and they're going to have some kind of safety features, heat shields on them, stuff like that. In a worst case scenario, Lori, what I'm talking about here is if you need to have a heat source in a house, you could use a 55-gallon drum, put in a safe position or somewhere set up, and you could vent it out a window or something like that. But you got to remember, a chimney design is to draft, so it won't allow smoke in the house, because that is a number one. Carbon monoxide is one of the most dangerous things that you can have in your house because you can't smell it, you can't hear it. So you got to have some kind of like we have ones that just plug right in the outlet and it lets us know if something happens at nighttime. Smoke you're going to smell right away coming off of the wood stove. If something's wrong, it's got a back flush or something like that, you're going to smell it. But emergency case scenarios, there's ways to heat up. One of the things that I saw when Texas was under ice and they had everything else is all these people are wondering how they're going to get heat. And I see their stove and stuff like that. I'm like, well, why don't you just open up your stove and turn your stove on? Or light the pilot on your stove, and because a lot of them are gas. I mean, we got to think outside that box. Josh, you don't speak English either? Well, Josh, there's what's that website you can go to and learn different languages? You got 24 hours before you got to speak English on live Gray Stream. There's a lot of stuff going on here lately, I'll tell you that. Guys, don't forget, if you can, please hit that thumbs up. Show YouTube that you enjoy our live streams. That would be awesome. And I want to give a big shout out to the 2 Thumbs Downer. Thanks for you being my soul, or how do you say that, Gray?
Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's always going to be haters, and haters and imitators. Now I know that's more of that's my new thing, is haters and imitators out there. Lots of those.
Yeah.
But I get flattered, to be honest with you, when people want to mimic something I'm doing, because I'm such a young channel, and if someone wants to do what I'm doing and then incorporate it, it makes me feel pretty cool.
They're devoted.
Yeah, agreed.
Love them. Guys are
creative redundancy. If the prices are going up, the likes might as well.
Exactly, creative. Yeah, keep pounding her. Guys, don't forget, tomorrow night, Gardener Josh will be with Gray live for the first time.
Yep.
So y'all get to see him.
His debut appearance.
Yep.
You're right on, Ghost Rubber.
Thumbs down or motivation. Yeah, they are. Views of you. Right, buddy?
I got called a meathead today. I was pretty impressed by that term. I was like, oh, I'm a meathead. That's so, and this is like a really old man calling me a meathead. And I was like, wow, he's calling me names. I feel like I'm in kindergarten again.
Gotta love it. And the thing that it is, it's not like we sit out here, guys, and we just spurt off at the mouth. I mean, Gray's got notebooks. I've got paperwork. It's not. We do our research before we get on here. Hilarious. First time on Gray's. Yep, Josh.
Yeah, it's like that's all I do is anytime I'm doing anything, I do research and just notes after notes after notes to that I don't mess up too much. That's why when people always ask me, "What are you looking at, Grace?" And I'm looking at my bullet points so I don't lose track of what I'm talking about.
Oh, I didn't know that, Natural Bounty. Josh has been on our channel.
Oh, really? Okay. Haters make you famous. That's true. Gray man, I have to check that meathead video. I know, right? It's the one I did about the breaking news, the 3.5-minute video. They were unhappy that I was talking about it, saying that
You should have seen that. My feet started blowing up with the same thing after I saw yours come up. It was one right after another. Just boom, 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 boom.
He was upset that that I told folks that if you don't have any gas, that you should stock up on it now. Us as preppers scare folks into buying gas or something to that extent. I was just like, man, I'm just relaying a message to folks that may be unprepared, or just giving the information that folks are aware. That's all we do is we spread a message. We don't try to push anybody to do anything. Most folks that watch us are preppers, so most people are stocked up on things, but it's just out there in the media. So a lot of people don't want to pay attention to media, so we're here to fill that void.
Laura, take care. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, and then the guys at work were talking about it too, because guess what time it is? It's spring. What do we do around here in the springtime? We got field planting going on. So all you saw is people are scrambling, and they're like, well, I got to go get this, and I got to go get that. And so we'll see what happens here in the next couple of days, because they're dropping stuff in the ground here left and right. And if they got no diesel to get that stuff going, there's going to be an issue quick.
Hey, Kristen, Marie.
Yeah, Harvey, I was looking at that email that you sent me. That was pretty interesting, how much gas is used.
That's crazy. You don't even think about it that much, but I was the other day I was looking at, okay, you got the truck, you got the car, lawnmowers, saws, weed whackers, equipment. You do go through a lot of gas in a hurry. You think, especially in the springtime, to get things up and running, you want to get everything all cleaned up and ready for summer. So you're probably burn a lot more fuel now. So it makes sense. We'll jack the prices up because everybody needs to use it.
Yeah, no, agreed. You breeding the does? Someone breeding deer? That's kind of cool. Matter of fact, didn't they used to do that on your property before you bought it? Breed deer? Huh?
Gray man, does are considered goats. So
does?
Yeah.
So there's multiple does in this world, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this used to be a deer farm that I bought. Yep.
Oh, okay. Wow. There's not too many people that get into that.
It's big money.
It is big money. I actually have one not too far down the road from me.
Yeah, if you got a nice buck, let me tell you, his breeding stock is worth some bucks.
Goats.
Josh says goats, rabbits, and deer.
Oh yeah, rabbits too are considered does.
We are actually going to be. I got 50 potatoes in the ground now, and I'm going to go and get some reds this weekend. I'm going to put another 25 or 30 more in. Question to everybody in the chat is, do you guys down south have potato bugs? And do you know what potato bugs are? Because up here, we live in potato country, and they can devastate if you don't spray. So the first thing everybody says, Mark, you're organic. How are you going to grow potatoes? Because you have to keep the potato bugs off, because they will devastate and they'll eat everything in your garden. They'll just keep going right down the line, which is true. So I was thinking Neem's oil. Neem's oil is the natural way to do that. Well, I talked to a guy that is his whole family, his whole life has been potato farming. He says that works all right, but it's not enough to chase them away, and you're constantly going to be out there spraying. So if you guys in the chat know what potato bugs are and have that problem with your potatoes, and you know how to get rid of them, let me know, because I live in potato country. I was used to go and buy this stuff. I mean, it was cheaper just to get a 50-pound bag.
Rolandaholic says wood ash kills them.
Wood ash, I have a lot of that. Did you mix it up and spray it on there, or what, did you just lay it down?
I can't say because we don't grow potatoes here.
I just grow sweet potatoes, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I grow sweet potatoes, but not regular potatoes.
Well, you have them too, Deanna? Yeah, them things are nasty, and I guess they'll even, because I was learning today that potatoes are actually big burners for consuming your soil, so the minerals that are in your soil, they're huge for burning it, so you have to have a real fertile soil to put them in. And with the rotation and stuff that I did, the boxes that I'm going to put them in are pretty decent, but I don't need them potato bugs in here because they'll eat my stuff. It's
Roland said, till it when you work the ground. Till it in.
Oh, okay, that's already tilled in. All right, sounds good.
Somebody said that they have a huge problem with the gypsy moth here where I am. We have a huge problem with gypsy moth, and basically what it is a aphid, and it devastates all my broccoli and cabbage and things like that every year. It's horrible.
Did you try to plant nasturtiums and marigolds by it?
I have done the marigolds. This year is the first year I'm trying the nasturtiums. So we'll see. Bomber Steve just hopped in. Hello.
Good to see you, Bomber Steve. The other thing that we tried last year a little bit was the old Dawn dish soap with some mixed with water in a spray can. I wasn't too impressed with it. It didn't work as well as what I was told it was, but I might have mixed it wrong too. I use any hot peppers you have available, but then blend them and liquefy them, mix with some water with 4-to-1 ratio for a couple teaspoons of Dawn. All right, Ghost, I'll try that because I got some nasty hot peppers, definitely.
Yeah, Ghost is he has a lot of container gardening that's doing really well with the potatoes.
No, Roland Hollick says mint works on them.
It's right next to the mint, so we'll see. Another thing that I saw that was really cool was the whole garbage can style potatoes. You ever see that? As a plant grows, you just keep putting dirt on there.
Yeah.
Keep going. And just amazing how one plant can grow so many.
Tea tree oil also.
I do have a lot of that mint. Remember that mint a while ago when I showed you guys that little mint plant that we had and then we pulled it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a monster. It's actually peppermint, and she's a monster right now.
Yeah, we told you.
It's in its own little container, but I'm letting it go against the fence to kind of like make a wall of protection.
I told you.
It's exploding.
That stuff is crazy how it just spreads all over. What's weird with mint is it'll pop shoots all the way because the root grows underneath and it'll come up with a new one and then a new one and a new one. It don't stop. Just kind of like raspberries do. Raspberries do the same thing.
You know what's doing? Oh, go ahead, Jess.
I was going to ask Rolling if he ever uses diatomaceous earth in his garden.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Howie does not like diatomaceous earth or ash because the little good slugs and bugs that are in your garden will eat that and die. So there's that natural balance that's supposed to be there. So if Howie hears that you're using diatomaceous earth or ash, he kind of gets upset.
I'll have to check it out, Fox. Just not to throw everybody off the subject of potatoes, but I just wanted to say my watermelons are exploding. The plants themselves, it's not blossoming or blooming yet, but the plant itself went from a tiny little plant in a week to this monstrosity. It's blown me away.
So what we do here with those, and by the way, you suck because I can't grow watermelons because it's too cold. What we do with like our pumpkins and stuff, we get to a certain point and we start plucking the flowers off because otherwise they just keep producing flowers and they won't pack the nutrients and actually grow the fruit. So at some point, if it gets too big, you're gonna have to start popping flowers off.
Interesting. Yeah, I know. We have them in 5 gallon containers right now to keep them separate from each other because we have two different breeds. One is something giant something, and one is another. I'm not the best with these names. I'm learning this year, but it's truly fun.
Gray's gonna come up to us with a 25, 30 pound watermelon and say, "Look at my monster." That's hilarious.
I do when we start doing some of the harvesting towards the in the fall. I think is when we're gonna do a lot of that, or however things come up. I will be showing those on the channel because it'll be my first harvest.
So yeah, Bee Lady just said diatomaceous kills honeybees too. So
I thought honeybees were good for spreading that pollen and stuff.
they are. That's why diatomaceous earth has its points. We use that on our chickens for dusting our chickens because it kills the mites and stuff off of them.
Right.
But it is hard on the like insects world because they crawl, they eat that, and it chews up their inside. So
Interesting, Ghost.
see, there's the other subject. We're back to the whole food grade thing again.
Cheers.
Yo, I don't know. We're talking about that today because we're looking at another water source, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I got a 40 by 40 shop, which would be a very useful thing to have for catching rainwater. But what do you store it in? And we were thinking about what Ed said and about sunlight. Yes, you're right. If it heats up, you have that chance of the leaching going on. But I've been looking and looking and looking, and there is nothing in decent size matter that I could do that with. Old horse shop raised, yeah. Roland, the problem with me and Gray and Jess did some research on BPA and BPS, and it's what is considered food grade plastic. And you can go watch that on the last live stream there. There's a lot of harsh chemicals that they're putting in the plastics, and they're labeling it a different name, but they're still in there. So as the water sits in there, it leaches from that and causes health issues. So we're really looking for alternatives for water storage, and this takes a toll on homesteaders and on preppers because water storage is a huge thing. Jess just told me the other night their local area got flooded, and the river came up next to her drinking water. And so what do you use for drinking, and what do you use for storage? So it's a touchy subject because that rabbit hole is very deep.
That it is.
And the other thing I was looking at too is our well. Now you can we have wells, so we could actually take it. Hey, Dragon, thank you so much. Awesome, buddy. You're the best, man. What you looking at, Gray?
I was looking at rockets. Bushcrest is talking about rockets, so I was looking to see if there was any live footage. There's just some still shots of the rockets being fired.
Gotta love Dragon.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So when you guys look at this now, they make deep well hand pumps. So for us farmers or people that live on homesteads, if you look at these deep well hand pumps, they're good to 100 feet. And you stick the hose down there, and it's a little hand pump, and you can draw water up. But they're extremely expensive. So I'm trying to make up or design an alternative to that so I can do deep well extraction. It hasn't been easy.
Greater redundancy. I'm assuming when it comes to clay pots, I know the Egyptians made some huge ones, and I think so did didn't the Aztecs as well?
Yeah, so did the Israelites. They made huge, the size of 50-gallon drums. Dragon's awesome.
I watched that on I-24. It's news. Gotcha. Marfugel showed him. Marfugel's always on point with news.
Hey, Dragon, I did think about making a cistern. Now the problem is that our new concrete, the substance that's in there, is the possibility for leaching. We did some research back the other night on the one that me and Gray just around with the BPA and BPS, and we're talking about concrete. And the concrete that we have nowadays has silica sand in it, which is highly dangerous to us. And because of the different styles, if you're looking at the pressure, some concrete is made for pressure, some is made for this, and some is made for that. So I'm just wondering, back in the old days, they used a lot of cisterns. They made them out of stone, and they would seal them in with like clay or mud, and then they came into the concrete and everything else. But I did think about that.
That's kind of how our spring is set up. My husband's parents, they set huge limestone bricks around the stream, so it comes out of the mountain and it hits that limestone and then goes through
Like a filter.
Mm-hmm.
The Dragon, the BPA free liner. The problem with the BPA is they went and they hit it and they called BPS now. And it's an exact cousin and the same chemical makeup as BPA. So when we started, that was that rabbit hole that we went down last week with the whole BPA free and BPS free. They're cousins and they just changed the name. And so it's a catch-22 is at some point we're all going to die. So do we do it sooner or later? That's the question. And at what point do we put our own life in as far as whatever we do can create cancer or kill us versus just doing and following the norm, I guess.
Where was it at? Roland, I wouldn't suggest Teflon. I know it sounds, they have all kinds of pots with Teflon, but here, let me give you an idea what Teflon is made out of. So Teflon is made with 4 ingredients. One is, and these names, the one name I want you to pay attention to, the other names I can't really say good. Fluorospar, hydrofluoric acid, chloroform, and water. Chloroform.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah, all those Teflon pans that you guys have.
Yeah, I don't. I got cast iron pots and stainless steel.
It's a nasty rabbit hole, Mark, and you know this.
Yep. I went out one year. I bought a $50 pan that was one of those things with the nice wheelie bottoms. I was going to go out camping, and I'm like, I'm going to take this pan out there because it was non-stick. And let me tell you, I watched the whole Teflon raise right off that can when I had it in the fire too long. So it really opened my eyes on a lot of stuff. And Teflon, no, I stay away from any Teflon. And plus, we machine some of that stuff because we have some of the stuff that we use have a Teflon coating applied to them afterwards, and they're bulk chunks, and then we have to machine it off. And just the stuff that we have to go through in order to machine that is crazy. Same thing with asbestos line spacers and stuff like that. It's just, or not asbestos, it's what's boats made out of? That fiber stuff. Great.
I know.
Oh, sorry, I was reading because.
Huh?
Something epoxy.
Yeah. It's epoxies that you put on the bottom of the boats, and you put the fiber on there, and you epoxy it together.
Fiberglass?
Fiberglass, thank you. We do a lot of that too.
Because Dragon is having a conversation with Harley, stuff that he talked about. He's talking about using Mylar bags. Remember, we went down that rabbit hole as well. What Mylar is made out of?
Yup. Yeah, Dragon, you'll have to go watch that live stream we did. You'll have a lot of your answers and the proof behind the pudding in that live stream. We broke it down. I mean, and Dragon, there's so many rabbit holes to this because every angle that me and Gray went through. I sat on the phone with Gray for hours when we did the research with Jess, and the rabbit holes that we went down, it's like one right after another. What do you do? Because I went through and took all the PVC pipes out of the house, and I went to PEX tubing. So plastic. I mean,
Roland Hollick was wanting to know, what about milk tanks?
milk tanks would be really good because they're stainless steel. The problem is up here, they are so hard to find. And if somebody does find them, they grab them for syrup tanks immediately. So that's one of the things I was looking for. Because back in the day, that's exactly what we would do is we take stainless steel tanks that were old milk tanks and use them for sap tanks. Ricky says that's what happens when you Dragon.
That's why I love being on a panel where I'm not running the chat, because then I get to read chat and pay more attention to it, because there's some great stuff that scrolls across there.
Well, Dragon and Freaky Geek are friends from way back when. So you have Dragon, you missed out on a lot of stuff. And you think about it, I was polymer grips. You start looking at the Glock frames. You start looking at all of this stuff, the composites, all plastic. We wanted to go lighter, easier, more efficiently, or not efficient, more convenient. And what did we do when we start to think we know better?
You just read Josh's comment, Gray Man.
Good to see you, Heavens. Good. I'm glad you came in here. I'm missing everything. What is going on here? You guys are cracking up laughing.
Read Gardner Josh's comment.
Oh, man.
My family's no longer considered part of my defense. That one?
No, he says a possum got in my house somehow and they didn't know what to do. I'm like, y'all are surrounded by pew-pews and you panicked. I would panic too if there was an opossum in my house.
That's a good choice, red burning fires. I know it can be costly, but it's be long term, maybe better for your health.
Yeah, I mean, guys, you can go and get it's called some of the cast irons are. I mean, you can pay top dollar for them. I got a lot of log cabin cast iron, and they've been with us for years, and they're awesome. You can. I should put out a video on how to resurface your cast iron pots and pans. It's very simple. It is a long process, but it's an easy process, and they will last you forever. I mean, I take them things out in the woods with me. I do so much with them.
Yeah, and you can pick up really reasonable price cast iron at yard sales and thrift stores and things like that. If you know how to reseason and all that, it's really worth it, in my opinion.
I think sometimes I cheat because at first I was going to take them to work and I was going to sandblast them and get them back down to the norm and then reseason them that way. And then I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute here. I'm going to impregnate the cast iron with silica sand, and then I'm going to seal it in with oil. That doesn't make any sense. So then I broke it down the old hard way. So,
do any of you guys ever go visit Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, I used to.
They have a little cast iron section in there.
Mm-hmm.
Connie, cast iron is heavy, but I mean the heat is so consistent. It's good to cook with. Once that thing is seasoned, you can fry bacon, you can fry your eggs, you can actually cook fish in there. Hamburgers are amazing. What we like to do is called a smash burger. So you put your hamburger, you mix it up, and you put it in balls, and then you take your seasoning and you season the top with it, and then you take it and you flip it down and you stick it on your cast iron. And once you see that cook come up, you press it with a press, and all that flavor is trapped inside that burger. And the flavor is phenomenal, nice and juicy. It's done evenly all the way through all the time. I love smash burgers.
Oh my goodness, Dragon says it's an opossum, scare it, and then after it shuts down, grab its tail and take it outside and use it as a rug cleaner. I would never touch an opossum's tail ever. There was no way. Just reading that gave me the weebie-jeebies.
You never had roadkill stew?
Oh, no.
It's got a 30-minute rule. Fresh roadkill. Long as it ain't bloated.
God damn, they didn't want a hole in the floor.
Hey, PAMT. Yeah, and the cool thing about cast iron is they have one. Some of them are waffle backed up. You got some that are graded, so you can get your marks for steaks. They have so many different ones. They got the skillet styles now. They've come a long way, and a lot of them now, guys, they are already it's the word I'm looking for, pre-seasoned already for you. So,
Thank you, Harvey.
yeah, guys, don't forget, like and subscribe and share. Me and Gray will be going live tomorrow morning, and then I'll put that out for a little intro here, 10 o'clock a.m. my time. My buddy asked me today, he goes, how does that wake up? You ain't start until 10 o'clock in the morning. She said, you second shifter. Hey, Dragon, thanks for coming in and enjoying the fun. It's always good to see you, pal.
Have a good night. Every time you play that intro, like I know you're going to play it. I'm waiting for it. But every time you play it, it startles me. I jump every time. It's like, I'm like, what?
Yeah, Gray's been busy.
Yeah.
Mid-South Homestead, thanks for coming in.
Southwest LC, we make squirrel stew. I had that last year. Middle of winter.
Ain't nothing like some good old-fashioned tree rat.
Nope. Especially up here, they're growing big.
They are way bigger. They are way bigger up there. I can give you that, man, because when I was in Michigan, they were huge. Down here, they're little baby squirrels.
Well, you got a trade-off because you guys got them big old bullfrogs down there, where we got these little tiny things around here. That's like when we were down south and I saw crayfish down there. I'm jumping in to grab them, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I want to make a crawdads here, boy. Hey, we don't get them this big by us. They're little tiny things. You need 100 of them things to make a meal.
Look what Ghost wrote. Oh,
that would really suck, Ghost.
Yeah. I made this mistake when I first started. Just a quick side note, I did a video, which ironically, this is when I first started YouTube back in December. I did a video a couple months in, I think where it was, and the thumbnail to this day is spelled wrong, and no one ever called me out on it. It was supposed to say SHTF, and it said STHF or something like that. And the ironic thing was that video went viral out of all the videos, and no one ever said anything about it.
That's funny.
Well,
Nice
SHIT.
Yeah. Some people ask me like, what is this whole shoot? They're trying to sound it out, and I'm like, man, it's the crap hits the fan, bro.
Thanks for coming in, Stuart. Yep. That's hilarious. So one of the things I wanted to talk about too was making yourself an alternative cook source, and out of cinder blocks and some kind of a grate. I was thinking today, if all my other things fail, can just make an old-fashioned grill like they used to do in the old days with smokers. They used to take cinder blocks and they would put them together, throw some wood in there, and they'd roast a pig on the top of it. So I'm thinking ways of how to do that and actually make if I need to be, I could take, because I have the Blackstone, so I could take the griddle right off the Blackstone and plop it on there. And then I got a 36-inch by 1.5-foot cooking space on there, which I think would be a great alternative. But the question that I have is, when I do this, number one, you got to have a fire, so you're going to have smoke. When you start cooking and people smell food for miles away. They seem to come and attract attention. So that was one of my thoughts is I always want to think about other ways to have different cooking sources. I mean, we got the grills, we have the stuff in the house, we have stuff outside, but if all else fails, we just got to turn it strictly to wood. It can be.
You'll just have to eat your canned goods cold until you can figure out how to keep that smoke down. He says,
I'll make it a Coda stove and I'll stick it in the ground and have it ready in a couple minutes if I have to do it that way.
Yeah. True.
Lady Kicks just came in. Hello.
Lady Kicks, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
I don't know.
Go ahead, Mark.
I don't know if, there's so many different ways of doing things. And when you think about all this other things that you could use and possibly use, especially in the homestead, we try to use everything we have on the homestead. So, I mean, we're thinking about it today. Let's say that we run out of wood or something like that. We got a bunch of punk wood that I had cut up that isn't good enough to burn in the house, but it would be all right to cook with, right?
I was going to ask is Ghost, do you do anything late nights on Thursdays? He'll probably hear it in a second because I know there's like a 30-second delay.
Did you just see his while you're waiting for his reply? Did you see his comment that just popped up?
Compost pile. Couldn't you wrap your meal in aluminum foil buried in the compost pile for an hour or so? I don't know. I've never tried it.
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't work because the compost pile gets super hot.
It's 100 over 100 and 120, 130 degrees. Yeah. I've heard people say at the same time too that I remember road crews when they were laying down blacktop, they'd wrap their hot dogs in a tin foil and throw it in the paver.
That's really a good idea, Ghost Prepper. I would have never thought of that.
Problem is I think people, you think about it, you're in a compost bin. People might go, "What are you doing?" But it's a heat source. That's the other thing too. Is I know people that have taken compost, wrapped it around with copper tubing, and made their own hot water heater out of that, and they heat their whole house with radiant heat that way.
Yeah, I guess I have seen people do that. Not with the copper wiring, but I've seen them stock up that compost next to like a greenhouse to heat it up.
Yeah, so it's definitely a possibility.
The reason I ask Ghost is if you ever get bored, on Thursday nights when I'm running my late night, you're more than welcome to kind of swing on by and jump on with us.
James Carl, welcome.
Yeah, Ghost has a lot of good tips and hints and stuff.
He does.
Yeah, we had a good chat that one time that Ghost joined me one night.
Hey, Ghost, you want to pop up on here and shoot the crap for a little bit? I'll drop the link in the...
Ghost says my mind works different. Well, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. That's what I mean about thinking outside the box. You always have to use different things. He says, "I'll be there, brother."
Awesome.
Yeah, Ghost, if you want to pop up here, just let me know and I'll drop a link for you.
He said, "Hell yeah."
Okay.
Hey, you guys. I am going to head out.
Sounds good. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on the panel. It's good hanging out with you, Gray. Hanging out with you, Mark.
Absolutely.
Roger
Everybody
that.
See you later. Have a good night.
You too.
Take care.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, okay, Ghost, I dropped the link. When I see it pop in here, I'll kick it out.
Everybody probably think I'm on fire.
You got that glow behind you tonight, so yeah.
Yeah, I decided to give it a nice that vibe, that little late night kind of vibe.
There you go.
Playing around with my LEDs and whatnot. Have a good night.
Ghost, you need to contact your mic cam before you can enter the stream. Oh, you got it. There he is.
There's the man, the myth, the legend.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, brother?
Just living the life, man. Living the life. Dude, I completely passed out at the computer. I woke up, leaned over like this the other night. Emily's like, dude, he was asking you on the panel. I'm like, what are you talking about? I woke up and I was halfway in the floor. I was like, I fell asleep.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah, we were going through that whole StreamYard and OBS and all that stuff, and I know a lot of people have been asking us how we do this stuff and how we run it. So I figure it's about time to start showing some of it.
Yeah, the stuff I caught at the beginning, I was like, holy shit. Good thing Emily's watching this stuff. She can tell me how to do it or just do it for me, because I'm like, whatever, man.
Hey, Fish, it's good to see you.
It's like being me. I'm all new to this technical stuff, so.
Yeah, I was the same way when I first started, and then I got into with a group from England, and they do semi-pro broadcasts. They do a lot of the Indy cars and stuff like that. And I was using VMix Pro back then. And when I first got the software, I'm like, what's this foreign language? And then after using it for a while, you get used to it real quick. I'm more into I like the editing stuff. I like creating that kind of stuff. That's fun.
Yeah, I'm just like simple. And like stuff on my channel, I've already put a video. I'm like, look, if I have something to say, I hit record, I talk, and I upload it, and you get what you get. I mean, you get what you get. I'm just like, hey, this is what I got. But Emily's been banging me in the head, with a baseball bat via the internet. Dude, you gotta. I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out, or you figure it out and tell me what to do, and we'll kind of go from there. Right now, it's like I told her, I'm more interested in just getting the content out there. I love reading the chat when people go, oh my God, that is so cool. Really? Wow. It's like the thing compost pile. Like for real, I just made it up. But like scientifically, there's no reason it won't work. Because I know when I used to show up on the job sites working construction, I would take my lunch and I would sit on the dash of the car in the sunlight. So by the time it got time for lunch, my sandwich was nice and warm. So there's no reason you can't put the compost pile, and it'll be, it'll be hot enough that it'll damn near burn your fingers when you go grab it. Legitimately, it can't not work.
Well, remember what I was thinking too, what most people don't have, but the MREs had them warmers in them.
Oh,
those things were, besides what there are other things that they're capable of doing, but they were really quick and fast. I remember when I worked on road construction, a lot of the paver guys, when it was getting like a half an hour before lunchtime, everybody's wrapping their food in tinfoil and they're throwing it in the paver. And I'm like, what are these crazy fools doing? And then I see them take it out and their hot dogs steaming hot, or their cans of pork and beans are red hot, and I'm like, hey, what a cool idea. And back in the military days of things, we used to stick them on the back of the exhaust of the 113s or the Bradleys or anything that was close by where we could warm stuff up. So yeah, it would work.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll tell you one.
There are people I know, like my greenhouse here in the winter, if I do actually get one built this summer, because I'm focusing my garden on being an actual SHTF garden, to where everything's in containers and I can just bring it all in the basement in bad weather or during the winter, and bring it out afternoon in the winter where the temperatures are still up in the 40-50 degree range, to where there's good sunlight. But I'm still going to do a hoop house, but I plan on heating the hoop house with manure and with a compost pile inside the hoop house. And in North Carolina, that'll provide more than enough heat to keep the greenhouse probably in the high 60s, maybe mid 70s all winter long, just with the rabbit manure. And that's why everybody, they were giving me a hard time about doing rabbits. Oh, rabbits are so cute. Yeah, so are baby cows and chickens, but they're delicious. They're yummy. All right, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but the thing is, I chose to go with rabbit because it's a cold fertilizer. You can put it straight on your garden. You don't have to cook it. It's like probably one of the best fertilizers there is. So you can legitimately go out right now tomorrow and get you a few yards of decent soil if you're in a shitty soil area, and raise meat rabbits and never have to buy dirt again. I mean, if you're using your rabbit compost and the straw that your rabbits is left over, and the clippings from your grass, and the leaves in your yard, then and you're working a compost pile, you can literally bring your dirt back to life. There's red wigglers in there, and you will never have to buy dirt again, and you will never need fertilizer, other natural stuff. You'll never have to amend anything that's got chemical base to it, and it's all natural.
If you guys ever go and check it out, Berkeley did a research study. They did a hot compost pile, and they actually took what they did is they took sticks, they're probably the size of dimes or a little bit bigger, and they layered the compost pile, and then they would throw sticks in there, layer the compost pile. And the idea was they did a hot compost. What hot compost does is it kills all the nutrients and stuff. It becomes a neutral compost. But what they did is they made compost in 2 weeks. And it was super hot. So that's what I was thinking when you said that, is if I do a hot compost, I can get up into them 160s and 180 range. I mean, there's other forms of cooking too. We can use sun, and they have them solar cookers that you can put outside with the big thing that you can actually, people are showing turkeys and stuff that they're cooking in there. And I made a dry rack for like my herbs and stuff. And I want to do some sun-dried tomatoes one year. So I made an actual drying rack that I could put that stuff in, and it works really well. But when you said that, I was like instantly thinking about that hot compost bin pile, and actually being able to use that, because you can also use that for heating your house. If you had a return source, I mean, a solar panel and a pump isn't going to take much to pump some water for irradiation just to get that water moving through. So that'd be a really easy way to do it. I mean, it'd have to be close to the house, but.
Yeah. And I mean, in my property, I've got all kind of fallen trees out back that are, they've been on the ground for 4 or 5 years. They're basically falling apart. They're like compost gold, and I mean, and people, I mean, when you go to Walmart and you get a bag of dirt, there's a reason, man. Those things work. They break down. They bring a whole lot to the party, and it's like, I don't want to have to go, buy, chemical additives and fertilizers when I can make it all right here in the backyard. I'm breeding rabbits. I'm eating rabbits. The rabbits are making all the fertilizer I'm ever going to need to grow anything. I don't need to go buy 10-10-10 or whatever, lime, this, that, and the other. And I want to grow everything in containers. I want it to be mobile. I want it to be an SHTF garden where, I mean, because, let's be real. If you've got like, I'm feeding a family of three, and I knew when I grew up on a farm, we had, obviously the family was bigger than 3, but we had about a 1 acre garden, and we would plant it slap full, beans, corn, everything you could think of. And then we would harvest, and then we would can, and we would bring stuff into the root cellar, and it would last us to winter. But if you can figure a way to grow year round, then you can reduce the need for a 1 acre garden. You can literally reduce it to a few hundred square feet, and then shove it all into 5-gallon buckets if your dirt is really, really good. And it can be mobile. I mean, it may take a half an hour in the morning and a half an hour in the night, bring stuff outside and bring it back in. But you know what? It's safe. And if the balloon goes up, the internet is not working. We're not going to be chatting on YouTube. The TV's not working. So you know what? You got fucking time on your hands to go take the pots outside and bring the pots inside so you can make sure you're eating for the next, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, however long it takes,
Fishes is saying about fishes and loaves, like what about the rabbit disease that is like Ebola? Is that like a real thing?
Yeah, rabbits do get sick, but I'm developing as of right now. Actually, I just finished building my cage, and I've got several videos of my second rabbit cage. I'm not building one rabbitry. I'm building 2, and I'm keeping them. They're segregated. They're 2 complete lineages, 2 complete genetic makeups in all the does and all the bucks, and I'm keeping them completely separate. There'll be ones on one side of the yard, ones on the other. They won't eat the same stuff. They'll never touch each other. None of that stuff. Just so if there is a disease, if it does happen, it won't spread through it. So I've got a backup. But I do plan on crossbreeding them to keep the genetics, free and full. But my rabbitry is also, it's not on my back porch. It's not on my house or involved It's in the woods. Like my rabbitry's like literally in the woods. My breeder rabbits, when they go past the 18 months to 2 years of breeding time, I have actually no intention of harvesting or eating any of my breeder rabbits because they're putting in that work for me, and they're going to get a reprieve, unless something goes crazy wrong and I'm about to starve. When I retire them, I'm turning them loose into the back end of my property. I'm going to fence it in, hardware cloth, and I'm just going to like turn them loose and just let them live a happy retired life. But the great part is they're still breed on their own, so I can legitimately go out there and grab some new genetic makeup and bring that back into my rabbitry. But they're not gonna be on the machine where they're breeding every 10 weeks or so. You know what I mean? But I want to keep the disease part completely separated. But I'm very big on hygiene, and that's why my rabbitry or my rabbit hutches, there's no wood in my hutches at all. It's all steel. It's all galvanized. It's all steel. I'm doing it with T-rails. All my cages are solid steel. There's no wood. I don't want to get the urine and stuff soaking into wood because that wood will it'll breed disease. You can paint over it, but that stuff's still on the inside, and rabbits chew. So it's going to be all steel to where when I pull a rabbit out to breeder, I can spray the cage down with like some seriously diluted bleach water and then hit it with a pressure washer and completely sterilize the entire cage and put her back in there. And the same thing goes for the babies when I grow them out. When something comes out of the cage, it gets completely sterilized, the whole 9 yards. So if there is a health issue, I can pretty much nip it in the bud or at least localize it to where I don't lose the entire herd.
That's cool. I know one of the biggest things is I've been talking about years, the best situation is a homesteading prepper mindset, is because you got that renewable resource on your property at all times. And I was talking when I was in your chat the other night, that whole seed thing just blew my mind when you're talking about the seed banks. And
dude, it broke my heart. It broke my heart when those things didn't germinate. I'm like, fuck. And it was live on camera. I'm like, I'm not going to erase it. It's the whole point of doing the YouTube channel. The shit didn't fucking work.
I was really, really, really shocked. And at the same time, I'm thinking, when I first started this whole YouTubing process and homesteading, I was actually promoting and shouting out seed banks and saying, hey guys, this is a really good thing to get because if something does fall apart, you have a backup plan. And I was really shouting that stuff out about get yourself a seed bank and do that. And then when you said that, and I'm thinking of what I got downstairs. I think I got 5,000. I got a pack of 5,000 downstairs with 5,000 different seed sets in there. And I'm wondering to myself, is this thing any good? Is it going to work?
I've got a couple of 1 gallon Ziploc bags full of seeds that I don't trust right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant as much stuff as I can plant. If it germinates, then I'm going to save seeds and move forward from there. But as far as hitting Amazon and ordering a seed bank, for you're getting 5,000 seeds for $12.99. That's a great deal.
Yep. If you guys haven't watched my videos for microgreens, guys, there's a lot of seeds that I use in my microgreens that are exactly the same thing. Like I was telling Gray, I bought 2.5 pounds of coriander seed that is a microgreen, but it's a seed. So you can get microgreens. Like I went through my stuff yesterday after I was watching you. I'm looking down at them right now. I got my seeds down there, and I'm trying to change everything over to heirloom. So a lot of my seeds now, we dry ourselves. We take care of that stuff. Moon takes care of all that stuff for me, so I never have to worry about it. And we're reusing our old seeds back and forth. But there's just some things that we had to go and get. Like we tried last year, we finally did the whole onion thing and letting one grow and pulling the seeds off the onion and doing that kind of stuff. And we always do our garlic but the lettuce is a pain in the butt. Spinach is a pain in the butt. Your greens are a pain in the butt. You got to let it flower. And up here, it usually bolts right when it gets hot. So you have a short period of time to grab that stuff. Otherwise, it just falls to the ground and it's wasted. So It was like it was a shocker. And it's just not that. It's just now you got my mind thinking about, okay, how many other things that are set up in that kind of set, is bad. And me and Gray were talking about this before about digging into some of our reserves of our food banks and seeing if what those are like. Are they any good? Because I've witnessed some people on YouTube pull out a 25-year and open a thing up and come to find out the food in there is bad.
You know what I'm having trouble finding locally? And remember, we had talked about this, Mark. I don't know if we were online. I think we were offline. I've searched every single place. I'm going to have to expand to like mom and pop nurseries, but I cannot find an elderberry bush or plant around my area.
I've been looking for months for an elderberry bush.
Like, so you're in the same situation.
Like legitimately, the smartest move is just going to be going out in the woods and transplanting one. Like logistics, that would be probably it would probably be easier, and it would be cheaper and more beneficial because it grows in your area, versus getting one from somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the whole thing about seeds, I mean, I've got 50,000 seeds, locked in my safe. Yeah, but are any of them going to work? So like my whole thing about having a seed bank is awesome, but I've completely realigned my brain on how it works with seeds. My seed bank is going to be a yearly progression. Like every single year, I'm saving seeds. I'm going to get something to grow right now, and I'm saving those seeds right now because I know next year they're going to grow. Yeah, at least.
Here in Florida, I'm not sure up there, but I know here in Florida. Yeah, I'm in Florida still. I researched the elderberry, and it'll grow 11 months out of the year here.
So great, Ghost. This is my new seed bank.
Holy shit! That's a nice one.
This is my yearly supply of seeds, and like last year, here's arugula. So we dried it, put it in an envelope, and this is from our plants last year. So this is what I turned to after your video. Guys, if you didn't go watch that conversation, it's really, really a good conversation because he made me think about, because I'm actually going to be sending Grace some of our own heirloom seeds that we have and harvested now so that he can start his own and start living off of and reaping the rewards of growing your own food, harvesting the seeds, reusing them next year because there's that renewable resource. And that's exactly what Ghost was talking about the other night. Because obviously the seed banks are in question.
Well, here's the thing, the only thing sprouted, like everything from the seed bank did not sprout. Every single thing. The only thing that sprouted was my tomatoes. Like legit, every single tomato seed popped, but they didn't come from that seed bank that I got from Amazon. I had 3 separate seed banks. The tomatoes were seeds that I got here locally, at the farmer's market.
My question is, I don't remember who said it, if it was you or somebody said, did you move or were they radiated when they went through the post office or, did any of that
probably
happen?
Irradiated at the post office? I don't know. But here's the thing. Like when I got them, I lived in Florida and I planted them last year and they germinated. I had massive germination rates last year. This year, nothing germinated. Yeah, I moved north. I moved from Florida to North Carolina, but that the climate change there isn't that much different. Plus, I germinate all my seeds indoors. So the temperature range was pretty much the same. So that shouldn't have happened. It was like literally almost they hit an expiration date of like 18 months and they just said, fuck it, I'm not working anymore. But last year when I was germinating stuff, everything, that's the whole reason why this time I said I'm just going to do one seed per cup instead of 3 because I had to kill 2 plants. I had to thin them out. Like last year when I germinated these same exact seeds, like every envelope that I opened to seed this year was the same envelope that I opened to seed last year. So it was the exact same seeds, the same lot, probably the same plant, But last year they all germinated. Like I had, seriously, I probably had a 99% germination rate. This year I had a 0% germination rate. And I mean, they were just loaded on a truck and moved here, which freaked me out. The only thing that sprouted was my tomatoes, and I got them here locally. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I'm freaking out about my seed bank. I'm going, holy shit. I'm just get a bucket and just separate things and just go ahead and plant everything, get a few to sprout, grow them to maturity, save some seeds, and just go year to year Or
Yeah,
honestly, probably what I'm going to do is just buy local and just start over and just do away with the seed bank, because there's obviously something wrong with that entire process for everything to just not germinate. I mean, what are the chances that I planted seeds and every single seed that I grabbed did not germinate? I mean, logistically, what are those odds?
Howie says that. Good to see you, Howie, too, by the way. He's saying keep the seeds in the freezer, Ghost, he said. I did hear that
Yes.
too. And what's that?
No, I was agreeing.
Oh, I did that with a few different things, and I noticed one of the things about I kind of I shy away from buying seeds from the stores, because it's very, once in a while you're gonna, especially up here, you find heirloom seeds at a store, but usually they're a hybrid. So the next year when you plant that seed, you don't know which part of that hybrid you're gonna get. So like
Right.
if you're getting like a sweet pepper and it's crossed between a California red and something else, you don't know if you're getting a California red or if you're getting that something else.
Right.
That's, with the hybrids, I stay away from trying to collect them. And now I got most of them weeded out of my whole seed bank that I have. But like I said, when it blew me for a loop, and I know every single prepper that's out there has a seed bank or a few of them for a backup plan somewhere stored. And if they don't watch that, or if they're watching this right now, it makes you really think about that.
Like legitimately, when I started this channel, when I made my first few videos, I'm like, you know what? I'm not ever going to sugarcoat shit. If I do something and it fails, I'm going to show you that it failed. I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm making this massive, awesome system. I'm not going to do like a lot of people when they're doing aquaponics. And it's obvious when they went to Home Depot and they bought plants that were, 3 months old, and they came home and rooted them right in just to make their system look good. All right. It's obvious. But, I was going in the basement every day showing it on the camera, and I'm like, these motherfuckers they're not coming up. I don't know why. They worked fine last year.
Everybody in the chat is saying, what'd you use for soil on them? Did you use a neutral soil, or did you use your compost, or what did you use for soil?
It was the best potting soil that you can get, that I always use. It was just potting soil that I've had like 99.5%. Because here's the thing, creating a seed is pretty easy. There's things you can do. Growing that thing, that's where the hard part comes in. I mean, hell, all you gotta do is just put a paper towel, fold it over, and just wait for it to pop. Right. Seed does all the work. We're not. I mean, hell, all you do is put it in dirt, give it a little bit of water, and put it in the dark closet. You don't even need sunlight until it pops through the dirt.
Correct.
A lot of people freak out. They don't know that. Yep. You got to put the light on. No, you don't. You don't. The seed does all the work until those leaves pop. Then you got to have sunlight.
Yeah, I put my covers over the top of them until they actually pop out of the ground. They're in the dark until they come up with their leaves, their starter leaves.
You don't need daylight at all. I mean, funny because seeds know what up and down is. I mean, literally they will look in the dirt to make sure they know. All right, trust me, they do not need our than we are. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you can put it in shit dirt. You can germinate a seed in a gravel bed if you want to. Just wet it, and it's gonna pop. I mean,
great.
As I say, it failed on me. Well, at least she's not willing to give it up yet. But I think it was Walmart or something like that, or maybe Home Depot. They had these little things that you put the seed, you put water on it, and it expands, and then you put a seed in it. Everything that you put in there is crap. It's not growing.
I used those once. They were more of a pain in the ass than just getting some solo cups or an egg crate or an egg carton and just popping your seeds. I mean, that whole spending extra money, this compressed little thing with a neat thing at the top. I mean, come on, man. Really?
That's where she's at. Since at her job, she has access to these egg crates because she's a cook in one of her jobs. She has 2 jobs, and she's been bringing those home. These big. We have stacks of egg crates now. It's crazy though. So
I got big stacks
because just to do an experiment last year when I had several hundred pounds of dry beans I was putting up and rice, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and test this whole Walmart theory, and I had probably 8 or 9 different types of beans, dried beans straight from Walmart, right in the bag, the whole 9 yards. And I pulled 2 beans from every kind. I think I put up 6 or 8 different brands, but I pulled or different types of beans. I pulled 2 beans out of every one, and I seeded them in egg crates. Sprayed a little bit of water, dude. 72 hours later, every single bean sprouted. 100% germination from Walmart. The same beans that you put in the pot and eat. They germinated better than the beans that I get at the feed store at 3 times the price.
That's crazy.
I mean, they were insane, straight from Walmart, right out of the bag.
So you just dropped the beans in the beans in the egg cart, sprayed it with water, and called it. That was it,
Dude. Literally, it was an egg carton. I filled it full with potting soil. I sprayed it with a little bit of water, a little spritz thing. Put a bean, covered it up, probably ½ inch of soil, if that. But I mean, because the egg crates aren't that deep,
right?
And that was it. 3 days later, I had, dude. They were on steroids, bro. But every single bean sprouted, every single one. Freaked me out. I'm like, what the hell? It was the complete opposite of what happened here 2 months ago in my basement when I planted those other seeds from my seed bank. I'm like, but every single one of them came up last year, which makes absolute no sense to me. None whatsoever. Because they weren't irradiated. I mean, loaded them on the truck, moved here. They're in the house. They're all climate controlled. They're in my safe, and I planted them and not one germinated. The only thing that germinated was the tomatoes. Every single tomato seed I planted popped. Every single one.
So yeah, so what I'm wondering too is we made a bunch of meals in Mylar. I figured out cost-wise and versus cal intake on the food that you buy. So if you buy some from West Foods or all these other long-term food stores, I was looking at your cal intake and what you had, and I'm looking at that. I'm like, I could make some equivalent to that or if not better, because none of my stuff has that preservatives in it. So we started doing that, and I had a question came up in one of my live streams. Hey, did you try any of them? So I took out a package about 5 years old, took it out camping when I went to do that 7-day challenge. It was unbelievable. That's actually what I made the squirrel stew out of, because it was actually a stew base, and we just threw squirrel meat in there. It was great. But now I'm thinking, what about that other stuff? Is that as good? Because I have a lot of the powders, I have the milk. I mean, the stuff like that. I'm wondering if those are going to be any good when I open them up, and are they going to be as fresh?
I don't know if I'm going to say that I'm gun shy with the whole, seed bank thing, but what I will say is I have adjusted my north. I've adjusted my, you know what I mean? So like my whole basis as far as this seed bank goes, it's going to be a year thing. I'm going to grow. I'm going to save seeds. I'm going to keep them as fresh as I possibly can. This whole, 5, 10, 25 years shelf life, and everybody just relies on that. And it kicked me in the, dude, I got nut punched like on year 2 on a 25 years, all right, 25 years seed life, and I got punched in the fucking balls on year 2. All right, so do the math on my faith in that whole deal. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. My canned foods, they're rocking and rolling. And I'll pull anything out of a mason jar in my basement and eat it. I'm on year 4 right now, and they're just as awesome as ever. But this seed bank bullshit, somebody figured out they can make money, and they're
We do a lot of our canned meats are that way too. We just pulled out. I remember it was a couple of weeks ago. Mama said, "Hey, we're out of ground hamburger," and I said, "Well, how's that possible?" And she's like, "Well, I was just already make the boys some tacos. What am I gonna do now?" And I said, "Hey, go pull that." I took up some chuck roast that I cut up and cleaned up and I canned last year. I said, "Go pull that out," and I said, "You can pull that apart and use that in your tacos." And she's like, "That's not gonna taste good." She said, "That was the best tacos she ever made."
Oh yeah. I mean, just today I found, I've had a lot of my subscribers ask me about canning videos, and I've been doing videos about canning, but the stuff's already canned because I've got a lot of shit canned. I'm actually a real prepper. I don't just have like 4 bags of Doritos and an attitude and say I'm a prepper. I've got years worth of shit canned. All right. So they're like, "Dude, Ghost, when are you going to make a video on canning?" I'm like, I don't fucking need to can anything. I don't I've got years. I don't need to do it right now.
He
But
even
today,
cans milk.
today, and I've had people hit me, dude, when are you gonna do a canning video? And I'm like, well, today I actually found a split breast chicken on sale for like $1.60 a pound. So I grabbed about 15 pounds of it. I'm gonna do a canning video on chicken and bone broth. Because that's
Would you say, Ghost? I mean, Gray?
He even cans milk.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You'll find Jess. They were yelling at Jess because she cans milk and cream cheese, and somebody just tore her right up for doing that.
Well, they
She's
can watch
been doing
my
it for years.
They can watch my video of me opening a can of canned milk that I canned 6 months ago and drinking it on camera. Like I don't just say the words. I popped the seal in front of the camera and drank it in front of God and everybody right here on YouTube. And I didn't die. I didn't get sick. It's delicious. It's really good. You can't can milk. Well, if you can't can milk, tell me how come you go to Walmart and buy canned fucking milk?
Yup. Well, that's what told me. I got some lady told me that one time too. Was oh, you gotta put your eggs in the refrigerator. I said, no, I don't.
You don't.
I said that's an old wives' tale. I said, I don't know where you guys heard that from, but my eggs have set out for days on a counter. I said, as long as you don't touch those eggs and wash them and keep them away there, they'll sit there for easily a month before you even start to go bad.
If you don't touch the membrane on those eggs, they're good for a month on the counter.
Yep. And I remember back in the day, my grandparents used to have jerky and they used to have summer sausage and all that stuff. And I asked this question to somebody before. I said, what do you think of you going to an Italian butcher shop? They have the beef hanging upside down on right out in the open on the racks. You can see them hanging there all over the place. They got hot dogs. They got everything. It's right there hanging in the open. I said, if that was going to spoil, they surely wouldn't have that in a butcher shop. So there's, that's why Gray's going to start getting into the whole canning thing. And I said, I use the ball book as a reference, and the ball book was set up from the FDA to try to kill all our stuff, but it's just a reference book. I do all my own canning. Yep.
Yeah, me too.
But think about this. Have you ever looked at the expensive cheeses that they make in other countries? They're not refrigerated. They're there to mold and age and whatnot.
I was going to tell you about that. I have somewhere in here. I got to find it. I watched the guy's video. 6 months. He waxed his cheese. He set it up on his rack in the prepper pantry. Let it sit there for 6 months. And he goes back and he says, this $1.29 cheese, he cut it open. He started giving it to other people. He said, that's the best cheese I ever tasted. Because it aged in that wax and it held it out. I'm thinking to myself, you know what?
It's so funny. That is so funny you just said that. I just got a delivery 2 days ago of wax and cheesecloth. And I've got about 10 pounds. I got about 10 pounds of mild cheddar because I like sharp cheddar. But I got the mild cheddar because it's going to age when it's in the wax. But I'm going to go ahead and wax about 10 pounds of cheese. Like this week and next week, I'm doing about 10 pounds of cheese. I'm doing ghee. I got about 17 or 18 pounds of butter. I'm gonna do my own ghee. I'm gonna do the chicken breast, the bone broth and chicken broth. Probably some more hamburger meat as well, and some different stuff for the candy. But it's like I told my subs, I'm like, fuck, I don't have room for any more canned food. I mean, I've got, but as soon as I get, empty jars and available jars, I will just start randomly canning stuff just to put some content out there. But in my videos, I pull stuff off my shelves and I show. I'm like, look, this is chili. This is spaghetti. This was canned in 2018. This was canned in 2016. I'm going to open this and eat it tonight. Oh my God. 5 years old. Yeah. And it's delicious.
Yeah. Tanya Turner in chat.
Hey, Tanya. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Glad you're up and around.
Yeah, I saw that she had wrote that she hasn't been around in quite some time, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. I figured once we started doing these more often and I get back to my normal schedule, some of the old timers will be back and showing themselves again.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of funny how people freak out about, like, literally, if you take a piece of paper and write a few words in English on this piece of paper and you show it to enough people, eventually it's going to make it to YouTube. French. It's going to make it to mainstream media. And all of a sudden it's religion. Everybody freaking believes it. And I'm like, I don't care. All right. And I don't get me wrong, the rockets being launched in Israel and the bullshit in the Suez Canal and the stuff with Russia and the Ukraine and all this craziness. Yeah, it's bad. It's terrible. I'm one fucking person, okay? I'm supposed to worry about all 8 billion people on the planet? No. None of that matters to me. Yeah, there's a problem with the oil pipeline, this, that, and the other. Well, we all knew that was coming. All right, come on. We all knew it was coming. There's always something. It goes in cycles. If you are actually a prepper, you've got gas stored up. I've got fuel. I don't drive more than 3 miles from my house unless I absolutely freaking have to. Okay, so the 100+ gallons I have stored up is going to last me a long time. I'm good.
So here's a question for you. Is I heard that was back probably going on 2 years now. They were talking about they made a born-on date on gasoline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of us storing gas. Because back in the day, I remember you go down and we lived on a farm. So we have 200 gallons of diesel. We had 200 gallons of regular gas. This is before they put the stupid dye in there, and you could actually go to the gas pump and you could fill up your vehicle, and you have to worry about the dye being in there because and all the other stuff. Normal gasoline would last us all summer long and through the winter because most of the stuff that we had on the farm was a diesel.
Yeah.
Now somebody's coming up and telling me that I guess it's the only thing that doesn't have a born-on date, according to what I read, was premium.
Yeah. And it's just because it's a higher octane. But I mean, here's the thing. Like, to bring old gas back to life, I've done it with gas that's been in gas cans for 30+ years. All you got to do is dilute it. Like, all you have to do is dilute it. If you've got 5-gallon gas can and it's got a gallon of gas in it that's like 5 years old, take your ass to the gas station, top it off, pour it in your car, rock and roll. I mean, the dilution rate to bring it back to life is actually very, very easy. But the way I do the gas storage on my property, I don't like it's been months since I actually took a gas nozzle and put it into the gas nozzle of my vehicle. Usually when I get gas, there's gas cans in the back of my truck, and I fill the gas cans up because I rotate my gas to my vehicles from the house. I take my oldest gas cans, that's what I fill my vehicle up with, and then those are empty. And then when I go to the gas tank, I fill up the gas cans and bring them home. And I rotate.
The other thing that you can use too, I don't know if you guys got it, but it's called seafoam. You can add that to your gas tanks and your gas cans, and it'll actually help you to keep your gas longer.
Yeah, well, seafoam's actually it's a gas preservative. It brings it back to life, but it's also actually good for your entire fuel system in your vehicle.
Yep.
Like it's awesome. So, I mean, there are so many things wrong in the world today, and it's don't get me wrong, I love YouTube. I've only been part of YouTube. Well, actually, I've only had a channel since February. I think I started like my first video, but I've been a part of this community for several years. I just never actually went on camera or actually did my own channel. And I've watched it progress from actual real preppers, us talking about prepping and doing these things and this and that and the other, to a whole lot of, this is Billy Bob Prepper, this is Tuesday Prepper, this is Monday on a Good Mood Prepper, and all this fear porn craziness. And I'm like, you're spending 1/2 hours online 5 nights a week and you're not telling me shit. Getting noise out of your fucking mouth. Like, the first question we got at the very beginning of the show is, what's the proper way to open a can of Pepsi if it's been shaken for 20 seconds? And 4.5 hours later, you still ain't got the fucking can open, and I'm dying of thirst, and I really want to drink some Pepsi. So, but you teach me anything. You didn't share any kind of knowledge. You did nothing. You're I mean, as a prepper, if you're going to just get stuck on the drama and the bullshit in the world, which, by the way, you have absolutely no control over, knowing about it is not going to change the outcome. Knowing about rockets in Israel, look, they shoot at each other every fucking day. Excuse my language. Every single day, they're throwing rockets at each other. It's like football in America. They're like, hey, it's Tuesday. Throw a rocket over the border. That's what they do.
Yeah. Well, one one of the guys said too is, if you go back and look in history, how many holy wars were ever won?
Yeah, there's no such thing. You can't win a holy war. You can't change somebody's mind. You cannot defeat a belief. You can defeat a person. You can defeat people. You can defeat a government. You can defeat a movement, business, money, or a background. You cannot defeat a belief. You never will. If you could, there would only be one religion on the planet right now.
That's correct.
Harvey, you asking what I showed just a minute ago? Is that what you're asking me to show on screen?
Oh, that was stabilizer?
Yeah, I mean, I can get a close-up of it.
Here.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, stable. It's. I mean, it works. It's good stuff. But I mean, if you've got a vehicle and you drive, whatever, all you got to do is get a piece of paper, figure out how much fuel you go through in 6 months, and try to figure a way to store 6 months worth of fuel, but rotate through it on a nonstop daily basis. Like literally, I never put the gas nozzle in my car. The gas nozzle always goes in the gas cans because that's my new rotation. I fill up at home before I go to the gas station.
So did you rip off all them safety nozzles and put real nozzles on there then?
Dude, those things piss me off. Those safety nozzles. That's a way to catch yourself on fire. I hate those things. They're like, dude, number one, you got to read an instruction manual to figure out how to get it to work. And then it usually doesn't work. Yeah, I hate those.
I tried. Mama ran out or she's running low on gas, and then I was supposed to take the car and go put gas in, and I did. And she comes out, she says, "I got to go somewhere. I got no gas." I said, "Okay, I'll go get one of the gas cans from the garage, and I'll fill up your car." So I'm in there, and hear me fighting and arguing with a gas can because you got a stupid button you got to push. And see, what's dumb is on cars they put a little flapper in the gas tank. On trucks, we don't have that, so I can just stick it in there. I'm done. Well, I'm trying to fight with that flapper, and guess what? That little nozzle that presses in there that you're supposed to open up to slide into the other tube gets stuck.
And then you got to catch that lip. You got to catch that lip. You need three hands. You need three hands to do one gas can.
I got it stuck in her gas tank. So now it's empty, and now I can't get the stupid gas can out of the thing because the nozzle got stuck in there.
It's like a two-person thing. It's like a two-person lift. The new gas cans today, it takes two people to operate them. Like I
look like a big old gorilla out there fighting with a stupid gas can.
Just give me a phone.
Want to answer Creative Redundancy's question? They asked how much extra time can that buy a person? According to the bottle itself, it's 24 months, so 2 years.
And here's
Seafoam will do it too, and it's probably cheaper than stable.
Like any product that you buy right now that has an expiration date or a best by date, you can add 40%, comfortably 50% to that date, no matter what it is, food or gasoline. You can add another 40 to 50% to whatever that date is from the time you bought it. And now with gas, I mean, if it's a 5-gallon gas can and it's half empty, you can pour in another 2 gallons of fresh gas and let it mix up, jostle it around, and you just brought it back to life. You're good for those 6 months. Yeah. And I know this because I've done it.
It's a lot of things that happen. Even the military does it, and they do it just to buy more crap.
Yeah.
Think about how that rolls. That every time, so they want to tell you, and I understand the premise behind it. Let's say your flak jacket, right? And you never take a hit on it, but it expires in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, I mean, like your ceramic plates. Well, they're good for however long until they take a shot. The first time they're completely degraded, And that's one of the things that I actually loved about Budweiser and their promotion. They didn't do an expiration date. They didn't tell you when it was going to go bad. They let you know when I was born. So it made you want to get the freshest beer you can possibly get. You got a born on date. There is no death date. It's just this is the day I was born. Get the freshest beer you possibly can. Like literally, our shit doesn't go bad, but this is when we came into the world.
All right, guys, we're going to tie her up. I've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I want to thank everybody so much for coming and joining us. Ghost, thank you for coming on and helping us out. I know Gray's already, his eyes are getting tired.
It's been a long day.
A long day. So, guys, remember, tomorrow morning we will be on at 10 a.m. We're going to finish some conversations we had tonight, talking about some new stuff. and we'll have our schedules. Our schedules will be posted. So you guys all take care and God bless, and we'll catch you on the next one.